Good evening. Welcome, Chanel. We have a very special guest tonight. We have Chanel. Can you please say your last name because I will butcher
it? It's Mikel.
Michael, okay.
Yes. It doesn't look like Michael.
And you are with?
Mountain States Legal Foundation.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about your foundation and what you do?
I would love to. Mountain States Legal Foundation is a nonprofit law firm that takes on cases for clients that are usually fighting state government, federal government, or agency that without our assistance, they wouldn't be able to take these cases because of the bills would be astronomical, as they normally are when you're fighting someone with unlimited resources. So we don't charge our clients any legal fees. So we are a law firm that depends on the people who support us.
Okay.
But we also depend on finding the right client to help us fight these battles.
Okay.
And we have 4 practice areas: First Amendment, Second Amendment, natural resources, and equal protection. Equal protection is not a big thing at this moment of time since we've had a lot of that DEI pushed aside, which is lovely.
This administration's been doing quite a bit of good work.
They have, yes. It's kind of nice to say that we aren't having to fight that fight because he's doing it for us. And we were founded 48 years ago by Joe Coors with Coors Beer.
Oh, really?
Yes. So he founded us in hopes to protect the American West and their property rights and their land use. I was mentioning this earlier today that, the original 13 colonies don't even know what that means. They're like, what do you mean federal land? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? We don't have any of that. So he started off with the hopes to protect the American West, but even though it says Mountain States in our name, we take cases all over the country. Okay. So it's not just in the West. We handle cases on the other side too. So anytime we can step in, we do.
Great. Have you done anything in Minnesota yet?
We filed amicus briefs
in
Minnesota. So we are jumping on that carbon emission train.
Thank God.
And we have 4 amicus briefs going, and one of them is in Minnesota. That happened, I want to say, in July. And then we have a direct rep case that we are representing West Virginia and 21 other states. Unfortunately, Minnesota isn't even in it. Neither is Colorado. I don't know why they're so rude. And we are going against the state of New York, who is suing for $72 billion for carbon emissions damages.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
From who? Who are they suing?
They're suing West Virginia Gas and Oil.
Okay.
Because apparently it's West Virginia's fault.
Oh.
Whatever happens in New York.
Clearly.
Obviously. That makes sense.
I know that Minnesota's got probably some Second Amendment stuff coming up. I don't know if you heard of the school shooting that happened down in Twin Cities a couple of weeks ago or a couple months ago.
I did.
But from that, the Governor Walz is trying hard to get a special session going so that they can ban guns. It's his whole plan.
Completely ban guns, or what do you know?
It's hard to say. So the nice thing about Minnesota last year, or when they did the election, they split the House. So it's 67-67. And then the Republicans have the Senate now. So Walz can't go and push everything he wants. He had a trifecta for, how long was it, Dave? 4 years?
It was a couple of years, 2 years.
Yeah. So he's going to try to do this, but what he's trying to do is get the leadership in and get a deal before they even open up the special session.
Yes.
So we don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like they're going to be pushing pretty hard on this.
Well, that would be a case we would love to take because we have a very similar issue right now in Colorado.
Okay.
Our governor did push it through. It's called SB 103, and it's a semi-auto ban.
Okay.
And in August of 2026, it will be in effect. So it hasn't happened yet. And once it does go into effect, you will require to have a special firearms card in order to possess the firearms. And so the hoops that you have to jump through are not only time consuming, but really expensive. And what's frustrating is that they're just putting well-doing citizens at harm because just someone that wants a gun illegally is going to get the gun. They weren't going to pay the fine to begin with. But same thing, when the bill first started out, you wouldn't believe the things that Governor Bowles wanted. It's basically like he wanted them banned completely.
Yeah.
And you could never purchase one again. But then it took a couple steps back. And now if you do the training, you can have it. But also let's say you're already a firearms coach. I'm not saying that correctly, whatever, whatever their job description is, but those who are already in that profession have to retake the firearms test in order to keep doing their job.
Oh,
so
really?
they already have passed it. They already are practicing. This is their job, and they have to retake it come August.
That's crazy.
So the only people that are exempt are police officers, and then you have to go to your sheriff's department. It is, again, Minnesota and Colorado, unfortunately, are dealing with a lot of the same issues.
Yeah.
But that's good it's great that Mountain State's already dealing with one.
Right.
It's like, what's another one?
Right, exactly.
We just had to do the exact same thing we already did.
Yeah, you're experienced in it now, right? Yeah, we were talking about this on the show last week, even with, going after guns. Well, you've got an attorney general and a prosecutor down in Minneapolis who won't even prosecute crimes. You've got people that if they stop a car now in Minnesota and they see a handgun sitting on the seat or drugs on the seat, they can't do anything about it. They can't take them into custody.
What?
Yeah, that was something that was just passed.
More? Give me more.
Well, if you stop a car and they see drugs sitting on the seat, they can do nothing about it.
Why?
Because it leads to problems. If somebody tries to get arrested, they may get shot or they may get hurt. So they just passed that.
So police officers they're like, we can give you a speeding ticket.
Hey,
pretty much it.
Look at that nice pile of drugs you got there. Well, on your way.
On your way. Carry on.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well,
We've got cashless mail here. I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Bloody Mary, she was saying that it was disproportionate minorities that the cops were finding the drugs and the guns on. Therefore, it was illegal. Therefore, she put a stop to all of it.
Clearly.
Clearly.
So Mary Moriarty is, what is she?
Could you call her Bloody Mary?
We call her Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, yeah.
That's our nickname for her.
Okay.
But she's notorious for not prosecuting crimes and just being soft and letting people out. And luckily, she's not rerunning again. So she will be replaced by somebody, thank God.
Yes.
But, the cashless bail. So what happens when somebody reports a crime and they get arrested? They go in and they're out immediately. And they're still ticked off. Now they got arrested. So they'll go after the people that
arrested them
or reported them. So now you've got less people reporting crimes. You got less police apprehending people because they just know they're going to bring them in and they're just going to be let go. So we got a lot of problems here that lead to a lot of crime. Guns are not the highest part of that issue. Start taking care of that. Then you're going to see the gun violence go down.
Yeah.
So that was our point last week.
That is mind blowing to me. Okay. I don't even really know what to say. There's so many things that, it sounds like it's going to turn to Gotham here.
Oh,
that's what it's
like. And that's Minneapolis. So Minneapolis is bad, but Duluth is, so I always call Minneapolis California Junior. Everything they do in like San Francisco, they want to do in Minneapolis. And then we get it eventually.
Yes.
So it all trickles, and we're one of the most liberal cities in Minnesota. A 70-30 split when it comes to voting for the last, what was it, Dave? 32 years?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
What drives? I know Duluth is beautiful and it's not a far away drive, 2 hours. Is there a reason that they come to Duluth? Is there a reason that it's Minneapolis and then Duluth?
It's not the people, it's the policies. They look at Minneapolis and go, oh yeah, that's what we got to do.
Okay.
So they're better here. It's not as bad as Minneapolis here. And we have some city councilors that are still in the sane lane, but we've started to trickle in some really interesting characters into the city council lately.
Okay.
And if you look at the Minneapolis city council, if you want to look at that.
Minneapolis is an interesting place.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. I was visiting with someone, one of my friends, and she supports Mountain States, but she lives in Eagan. And when I first called her last year to get together and I told her where I was staying, she said, no, you're not. You better cancel that hotel right now. And I didn't know I was in downtown Minneapolis. I'd never been before. And she's like, you are not staying there. Call it. She's like, cancel it. She's like, you can stay in St. Paul if you must. She's like, or you go to Bloomington.
Yeah. There's plenty of suburbs to go to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, we always joke if we're on to Minneapolis, Kevlar comes on, it looks like Commando.
I went to have dinner somewhere that I didn't know was Minneapolis again on Monday, and they were masked up. They had masks on.
Really?
And it was there was no serveless serving, so you had to order everything on a screen, and then they put it behind this weird glass. Like,
Really?
it was so bizarre. I felt
Where
like
was this? Do you
it
remember?
was on Lake Street, Lake Street, and in downtown Minneapolis, like, it was called a Waterside Grill,
Okay.
and it was all lit up. And so you would take the highway into downtown Minneapolis, and then I went to the left, and then I think I went down 32nd
Okay.
to Lake Street,
Okay.
and it was bizarre.
That is bizarre.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
like, we need to go. We need to go home.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
So I used to work in downtown Minneapolis, and I left in 2015 to go. I lived somewhere else, and it was still okay, but it had gradually decreased since I went there in 1992. I started working downtown Minneapolis. It was beautiful, night and day. You
Mhm.
felt safe. You could walk around just about anywhere. Then it got to the point where it was like nighttime got a little sketchy in certain places. Daytime was no problem. By the time I left in 2015, it was daytime was getting a little sketchy. People were getting stabbed in the Skyway during the day.
Okay.
And then when the pandemic hit, I mean, literally outside the building I used to work, there was a dead body who'd been stabbed to death in the daylight, right outside my building. It just kept getting worse and worse. Now they're trying to pull everybody back into the downtown because the more people down there, the safer it is. But it's a hard sell for people that have been, working from home for the better part of 5 years now.
I was fascinated because as I always am, when you see, it reminds me of Seattle. I loved Seattle. And then I went after the riots and after COVID, and it's like an abandoned city now.
Really?
It's changed so much. And it's sad to see something that you love so much change so drastically. And so I felt that way when we were going into downtown Minneapolis. I said, I see all these really beautiful old Victorian homes that are just look like they're desolate.
Yeah.
And you just wonder how it can change so fast in something that was so beautiful and prime. It used to be prime real estate. It's now, I don't even know what those houses are used for. I don't know the kind of people, like, who's even living in them now.
It's getting more like Detroit all the time.
I know.
Unfortunately, good thing about Duluth is still we have those beautiful homes and they're still occupied by people.
Yes.
So I hate to see it happen here. And that's one of the reasons I'm running is to try to keep it away from us. To just give it a little more positivity. I think Duluth is small and quaint and still has, I don't think that'll ever go away. So that's a great point. And one of the things is we don't have a lot of housing here. We don't have extra housing. We have a housing crisis, but people want to keep building more houses. And I keep saying, to pump the brakes on that a little bit. You don't want to just keep cramming people into the city because you're going to lose what's special about Duluth. It's already bad enough driving around here. That's not necessarily the roads, it's the drivers themselves, but you get my point.
And then they put the down to one lane on the highway.
Yeah,
That's the only issue.
Every year. Well, I swear they map out, so, okay, you're going to do road construction here. Now, where would people go around that? Okay, we're going to do road construction here and here. And so you can't ever get to where you're going.
Nope. I went down Michigan Street today for way too long just to avoid the highway. I was like, I'm just going to keep going until they tell me I can't go any further.
Sure.
And then I'll 35.
Luckily, I think it's going to be opened up in the next week. But it came right at the tail end of 5 years. What was it, 5 or 3 years, Dave?
5 years.
5 years of construction on 35W was down to one lane during the summer, opened up in the winter.
Oh, I guess it must have been this way when I was here last year, and I just don't remember.
Yeah, they've been working on this 5 years. That whole area. So. Anyway.
Last year, though, I stayed in the Radisson. I did, and this year I'm staying in Proctor.
Oh, I
wanted a little more trees. Some more trees.
Yeah, there's not a lot of trees down here.
I wanted some fall foliage.
Yeah, makes sense.
But next year they're shutting the bridge down, so we'll only have one bridge to cross over into Superior. So
yeah,
we have that 5
When
year.
are they doing that?
They're starting it next year for 5, and they're closing the bridge for 5 years.
Okay, not the little one on Canal Street or the big one.
No,
there's
big ones? 2 big ones that go to Superior. One of them is going down. The one closest to us right here.
Okay.
But I don't know if you go over Superior very much, but
I've only been there to go on Art's boat.
Okay.
To go sailing, and that's the bridge that takes you by the giant shop that has the tank outside.
The tank outside?
There's like a real army tank outside, and there's like
you
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. That's
going to be the Bond Memorial.
Yeah, the other bridge is going to be blown up.
Okay.
I believe it's the same construction company. I don't know if you remember, God, how long ago was that? 12 years ago, the bridge in Minneapolis collapsed.
No.
Yeah, going over the Mississippi River, it just one day it just stopped vibrating, and then boom, straight down. And hardly anybody was killed, but there is unfortunately some people killed. I believe it's the same crew that built this bridge
Oh,
here.
they're like, let's get rid of this.
Oh yeah, it's
They're
time
like,
to put it to go.
we're gonna plan ahead on this one.
Yeah, that thing going down, there's not going to be small amount of casualties.
No,
It's going to be
okay.
everybody on that bridge.
I would rather have the bridge be closed than the bridge fall apart.
I agree.
That's fine.
You may be in the minority. Everybody wants that bridge. So going back to what you do, so tell us about, like, without disclosing anything, like an interesting case that you guys have, or the most interesting case you may have gone to.
Okay, which practice area do you find most interesting? I told you a little bit about Second Amendment, so I could go into another.
I think First Amendment might be interesting.
Okay, so First Amendment is interesting because it also right now kind of crosses over into DEI, because a lot of our First Amendment cases deal with really harmful teachings in a workplace.
Okay.
We have a teacher that used to work at Penn State, and then we have a woman named Danielle Johnson. She's in Oregon, and I can say this because it was on the record, but this gentleman at Penn State, they would have him go to sort of monthly trainings where they were telling him that all white people are awful, all white people are the problem, all white people are elitists, and we should basically have to change our teachings because white people are the worst. And so they're telling them to give any minority a better grade. They're telling them to, and if then he started not, he was like, I don't agree with this. Yeah. And they were like, no, white people are part of the problem. The reason the world is the way that we are is because white people are the problem.
And who was it saying that?
Penn State.
The like somebody instructing this monthly
like
thing. He had to
the
go
mentor he was teaching English, like the mentor for a whole department.
Wow.
And so he started to disagree with it, and they fired him.
Wow.
So it was, and when I say at one point they even were, they went off on a crazy tangent saying white people are cannibals. It was they're
cannibals.
Cannibals. We're cannibals now too.
Wow.
And
little did I know.
And so that was like a hostile work environment, which is equal protection. But then also whenever he would speak up and say, I don't agree with this, they would be like, either shut up or go away. And so he kept saying, I don't agree with this. And so eventually they said, well, you're not welcome here anymore.
So has that gone all the way through now, or is that still in process?
So he filed in Pennsylvania, and it did not go through at the district level. So it's in the Court of Appeals. And so we took it over. Okay. And it was because something about his first attorney was, didn't have all the resources and kind of didn't bring enough evidence of what was being said in the documentation in the back end of the school. So now that it's in the appellate court, we've actually discussed this, that if we win in the Court of Appeals, that means we are back in full swing court, and our honor to be honorable, that we will keep it, that we will see his case, like we'll win the Court of Appeals and then we will take it over again. Great. Which is great. And it's just sad because that's the culture in most, I can't say all, but most universities right now, is that cancel culture. Yeah. That white people are the problem. Right. And so we have another case for against UCLA. California. You got to be kidding me. Against them. They never have any problems. I have something for this. Wait. What? No, not California. Not California. They always know what they're doing. My goodness. With all the actors, they must know. They're probably all moving away. Yeah, probably. So you got UCLA, the same thing? So sort of, we are defending Young Americans for Freedom, YAF, and they were trying to have a rally on campus, and the UCLA purposely shut it down, which is canceling their free speech and their right to speak out against something. And so that's been going on, which they've got some pretty, YAF is a really great organization, the Young Americans for Freedom Foundation. And so we've got some pretty interesting plaintiffs in that case. Oh, nice. And UCLA is just, they're really dragging this on. But but we have First Amendment is really taking off for us right now. Our attorney, Jim Kerwin, he's like up to here in First Amendment work, but he's very passionate and he loves it.
It's been so nice this year with the cancellation of the DEI stuff. And when I was campaigning for, I can't remember, a city council or Minnesota House, somebody asked me, why do you hate DEI so much? I said, I don't hate DEI. I think as a concept, it's altruistic, but the implementation of it is typically problematic because you are just promoting one group of people over another one. That's not right.
No.
And I'm old enough to remember when they used to teach us everybody was equal.
Yes.
That was it. Everybody's equal. Okay. So then I live by that, and then you get in trouble.
We have gone back in time.
Yeah.
I used to say this often that Martin Luther King Jr. would be so offended with where we're at in 2025. He'd be like, you guys are back in the 60s because we are just separating. We are making so much separation.
Yeah.
And the more you talk about it, the more you make it, they're making it into such an issue that it doesn't have to be. And when you highlight anything and give it life, then it will keep growing and breathing. And it's out of control.
Yeah. Well, now they just passed a thing to look at reparations in California, who never as a state had slaves, but they're going to look at reparations now in California and trust me. And trust me, Minneapolis is doing it too. Yeah. St. Paul, I thought, Dave. Was it St. Paul or Minneapolis?
Probably both, because they both kind of blend together on their thoughts.
Who's leading that initiative?
Here? I'm not sure.
In California, do you know?
California, it was signed by Gavin Newsom to do an investigation into it. So
Don't
it was
you
something
feel
that
like
passed.
we have not only a better use for our resources and our time to do anything else, but that.
Funny you should mention that. Our AG, Keith Ellison, brags about how many lawsuits he's brought against the Trump administration instead of doing his job here. He brags about that. So
lovely.
Yeah, Minnesota is just kind of, we're so close to being good, but we've got our cast of characters. We got mentally Ilian Omar. We got Amy Klobuchar, Tim Walz, Keith Ellison. I mean, it's a bag, man. It's a lot of people.
Even say on the air what my cousin calls your governor. So I'm speaking for myself, but it is a very similar to Bloody Mary, and it is a good name. And
okay,
it cracks me up.
If you say it, we'll edit it out, but we'll talk afterwards.
Tim.
Tap on Tim. Dave calls him that.
I'm allowed to say that on air.
Absolutely.
Everyone says that.
Okay, just making sure.
But Keith Ellison, our AG, he's suing right now the oil companies because of climate change.
Yeah.
So sounds like your organization has already started the process in other states. So eventually you'll make it to Minnesota again, suing, unsuing Allison, basically.
So the amicus brief that we did was brought to us by a professor who works. It actually was the first one started in Boulder, which Boulder is like Duluth.
Is it?
Yes. Like you're right. You're like 30, like an hour from Denver, and it's even more liberal
than Denver.
Like
wow.
They had math. My family was from there. It didn't used to be like that, but I went up a year ago, and everyone still had masks on in Target. I'm like, you guys, 2024. These are gone. We're done with these.
Yeah.
Like, they are so liberal. And so it reminds me of that. But that was our first carbon emissions amicus brief. And Professor Epstein keeps bringing us the other ones. So I'm not sure exactly like what company it was for in Minnesota. But Dave, if you it would be lovely to go after your AG if that's a possibility.
That would be great.
If that's a possibility, I always like to say that on the one hand, we're looking for donations for supporters, but on the other hand, we are always looking for a client because we are a public interest law firm. And if we don't have the public's interest in a client to represent, then we can't do our job.
Sure.
And so I keep saying that we would love more. I would love to take something on in Minnesota because you guys have, again, your plethora of issues.
Yes, we do.
I would love to take a case here.
Well, all right, people listening in.
Send them my way.
We're going to put contact information in here. It would be great to see something happen in Minnesota. The one thing I'm thankful for last year when Tim Walz was selected as vice president, it was the veil was lifted on some of the people here because the press here is so friendly to him. Dave and I had been talking about him for years and how horrible he is, but nobody knew. They just covered it up. So now when he ran for vice president, he exposed himself, not literally, but
Yeah.
figuratively. So yeah, so it's good. Yeah,
Throws out the guest.
I didn't mean it like that.
yeah, no, I had something for that. It was this. So that was First Amendment. We talked a little about Second Amendment. What are your other practice areas?
Equal protection.
Okay.
And then natural resources.
Ooh, let's talk about natural resources.
So we are very excited because we are launching a new center. And when I say a center, it sounds like a building. It's not a building. It is just it means that we have specialized attorneys that only go after like a certain kind of case. So it's called the Center for American Prosperity and Energy.
Okay.
We are taking on extracted resources. So oil and gas, mining, timber, nuclear. Mining, I know.
Minnesota, mining.
I know.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how badly I want a mining case. We don't have any right now. And I know they're working on opening up some retired mines. We did an amicus brief for Twin Cities Metal.
Okay.
And we fought for it pretty hard. And I still cannot believe that they didn't let that happen because it was bupkis.
When was it?
We filed that probably a year and a half ago, the amicus brief, and it was to keep that mine open, so that they could open new schools and give all those jobs. Like it would have been so great, and they, denied it. And when I was reading the amicus brief, it was like 100 pages, and when they got to all of the boost to the economy that it would have done, and for that city, I was like, I can't believe that you didn't let this go through.
Yeah.
So mining would be amazing. I think nuclear would be amazing.
Yes.
We're good on the oil and gas right now. It's the other three that I would love to take a case for because I think we've got a handle on the carbon emissions, which is the big deal right now. We've also got a handle in Colorado. We're dealing with bonding agreements. Okay. Where for the small and medium operators, they used to be charged around $50,000 every 10 years. For a bond are now getting charged $50,000 a year. Oh, for a bond.
That seems a little much.
Yes, and they can't afford it, and so they are closing up, or they're closing up and moving. Unfortunately, most of them are just closing up because it's a lot to go get land elsewhere and get the it's a lot of paperwork, and they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's what is it, lawfare? It's just the process is the punishment.
Yes.
Right?
And so we're hoping to get some sort of case on bonding and how that, is unconstitutional. And, it also scares me that they want to get rid of the small and the medium and just funnel it all into a few giant corporations that we all rely on. I don't like that. And that's not the American way, and that's not capitalism. And so it scares me and that is their intention with getting rid of our small ranches and our small farms and our small any energy. It worries me, and I wish other people were a little bit more worried.
First it consolidates, and then China buys it.
Yes.
And then
Western buys it.
Well, we've got that. So Hermantown, pretty much close to where you're staying. They're secretly have come up with a plan now recently. They've been working on it for over a year and buying a plant, data center out there.
Yes.
Coincidentally, BlackRock
is buying
Minnesota Power.
Yes, I heard all about this today.
Wait, what?
and then I found out that they're in cahoots with a Canadian pension.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
That is who one of their funders is with BlackRock. This is all very, very sketchy.
For Minnesota Power.
Yes.
Yeah. The data center one is even worse because they've been working with public officials who signed non-disclosure agreements, and we're working on them for over a year now. So that's not in the best interest of the people to have politicians with non-disclosure agreements. They won't say who's building it. They just said, well, it's going forward. So they're going to keep going forward. It hasn't passed final yet, but they haven't talked to the people around. They were all, not in the know at all.
So Where is Minnesota Power getting their power right now? Like, what are you guys relying on? If like, is it what is your most used energy source?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
Because
not.
it's not coal anymore.
It's not coal. Is it nuclear?
No,
It can't
it's
be nuclear.
gas.
Is it gas?
It's gas.
Yeah.
Probably gas. Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, didn't Minnesota Power go on a clean air kick? Like, aren't they all?
They all are.
They're all
Yeah.
pretending to be
2030.
clean.
Yeah. Wait till BlackRock comes and that they got the money to stop all this stuff. Maybe it's going to be the death knell of the the clean air
The
stuff
Clean
when
Air
they get it.
Act. Because you just have to wonder, with a data center comes a lot more energy needs.
Oh,
And so I
absolutely.
would just like to know that how they're planning to make that happen.
Yeah.
So cleanly.
And is the grid ready for that?
I doubt it.
And where are they going to get the water? Because they got to go through Duluth to get the water. And Duluth is notoriously anti-business.
Stingy with their
Oh,
water.
Stingy. Just stop there. But yeah, I don't know. I've heard it's possible that it really pollutes the water when it goes in and out. So they have to do a lot of cleanup. It's going to be interesting to see how they come with this, but I'm hoping
Mhm.
the politicians that are involved are trying to strike that right deal to say, if it's coming in, what's your plan for the water?
Mhm.
What's your plan for energy? Are you going to have a small nuclear plant there? If you're going to do that, we're going to have to talk about that before you start doing
Yes.
it, right?
Which a small nuclear plant would be a great idea.
It would be great. They have portable ones, right?
Yeah.
Small that could excess power could come to us. Maybe they drop our energy prices
Mhm.
because of it, but that's what the politicians should be negotiating right now.
Yes.
We'll see if
But
they
Walz is against nuclear. He already put a 100% ban on nuclear, even though it's still considered clean energy.
do. Yeah.
He banned it. So Minnesota will not get nuclear. So we'd have
Well,
to move the.
He's done in a year, right?
Well, he's going for re-election.
Which is fascinating to me that Minnesota doesn't have term limit for your governor.
Well, it doesn't, but it usually effectively does because we don't worry about that.
We need to get the off on this. We gotta go.
Yes, Tim Walz has to go.
Yes.
And he's going to run for a third term. And I just hope it is just painfully a victory for the other side. We just need a good candidate on the Republican side. And right now there's like 6 people that are going for it right now.
Okay.
So
I do know who it's my friend Vicky that I had dinner with the other night, she knows the gentleman, I want to say, is it Ron Schultz? Ron that's running for the new AG.
oh, I don't even know.
And he's Republican. He's a good candidate. She taught him in law school.
Oh, okay.
And she knows him, and she's like, he's the new AG. You need to go. Like, he's gonna be running for AG. They just started the campaign. It's like the beginning of his campaign. And I said, okay, well, that's exciting. And then she gave me 2 other people for governor. One of them's name was
Kendall Qualls.
Okay.
I
Who
like
else?
that guy.
You like that guy?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Who else is there?
Oh, I don't even know their names off the top of my
Okay,
head.
you proud that I knew one of them?
I know one, you know one. That's pretty good.
The guy from
Okay.
the doctor from last term, Dr. Scott something.
I want to say Peterson, but I think I met him too. I met like 3 of the candidates, but I didn't research them yet. So
Okay.
I'm waiting for the, kind of the thing to start because it's not till next year. So we'll
Yes.
see who gets weeded out.
So he puts this ban on nuclear, and then how long would it take your new governor to undo that? Like, do we know?
Depends if they get the Senate, House, and governor, take a year.
Okay.
If we have split house or we don't have one, it's going to take a lot longer, I think. People are still scared of nuclear power. They think 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl, and there's been so much progress since then. But it's reasonable to have
Mhm.
concerns about it, but those should be addressed.
Yeah.
If they can't be addressed, then you're not going to get it for sure.
They're reopening 3 Mile Island
Really?
in 2029. Microsoft is
Oh.
somehow
Oh,
behind
good.
this. Yeah. Because they need more data centers. The only way they're gonna
So
get
the giants that live there now are going to be.
it.
It's like Middle Earth there or something. Well, that's great. Microsoft.
I know. I'm like, let me give you some fascinating information.
So one of your practice groups is it going to be power? Is that the one practice group we were just talking
Yes. So
Okay.
the reason we're opening CAPE, and that's the new Center for American Prosperity and Energy, is because natural resources is a huge practice area.
Okay.
We've got agriculture within it, which has the sub of, farming and then ranching and then property rights. So they kind of spiral into their own. And so, yes, agriculture and natural resource or oil and gas or any extracted resources, they have, like back when we were kids and you had to draw those circles.
Yep.
And like in the middle,
The
there'd be
Venn
the
diagram.
things, yes, that they would go together. And so some of them, like property rights and land use, we can fight the same battle, but then other ones are so different.
Okay.
Like water rights, Endangered Species Act falls in between the both of them. But water rights and property rights are definitely more for the farmers and the ranchers, where on the other hand, we are dealing with a lot of regulators for the extracted resources. And as much as, President Trump is helping federally, there's so many issues within our states, as you know, and the more we can get involved in the states and the regulators right now, I think is going to be the most helpful and have the most long-lasting change. And that is the big goal. And that's why I sincerely mean it. If there is anybody in Minnesota that thinks that they have something, we want to be in the know of that.
Oh, Pete Stauber is a guy to talk to too. He's one of the senators, Senator. Can't remember.
Minnesota senator.
Yeah, and I've talked to him a bunch of times. He's big into mining. And we've got a couple of Minnesota House people. He used to be a miner. He worked in mining for a long time. His name's Cal, and they probably have the know of what's going on. So
I went to a mining conference, which, let me tell you, if you are not a geologist, it's a lot of information about rocks. So it's a lot of information. And so I'm trying to keep up, but they were saying that at least compared to a few years ago when they were just shutting down mine after mine after mine, at least now they are opening retired mines, and they are working to making it more not a dying energy source, because they were so negative about mining for so long. And coal is very important and we have it. And so to just let it stay there when we're buying coal from China just doesn't make any sense.
Well, didn't they just put all these filters on? I seem to remember this like 15, 20 years ago. They did all this filtering on the coal plant so it would be clean air coming out.
They're very clean. You can test the air. It's clean.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people in this country don't want us to use our country. I can't answer that question. I ask it quite often, but I don't know why any intelligent person, maybe that's the problem, has a good answer for me for that.
The only thing I've heard is people are very concerned about what happens to the earth when you pull all this stuff out, and they're worried about contamination. So where we have mining here, isn't there this big open forestry area? We don't want to contaminate that. That makes sense to me. But you need to, as you're opening a mine, prove that you're not going to do anything to it and hold these people accountable, and hopefully not have a mining company that's in China who you can't hold accountable. You have to have people here.
Yes.
And we have a large helium deposit here that we need to mine. We have tons of stuff. They tried to pass a law last year, 2 years ago. It was called Prove It First. And it was going to be, you couldn't open a mine until you'd proven for 10 years that you could do it safely somewhere else, which effectively shut down any kind of new permits coming into the state. Luckily, that didn't pass, but it was attempted. And that would have been maybe one that you would have had to go after.
That's so bizarre. Like, go make it somewhere else lucrative for 10 years.
And then maybe you can apply. Yeah, right.
It's like, I'll just uproot my whole family and we'll just move to Brazil and we'll just try this for 10 years and we'll definitely come back. No.
You want to marry me? Well, go marry somebody else for 10 years and show me that you can do it successfully.
Have a few children, let me know, and then completely abandon them, and then come with me.
And then propose to me, and then we'll start the courtship.
And then we'll start that.
Right, yeah.
And I was just thinking that it's great. Like, if you think about it, that we're like, oh, it's okay for another country to completely destroy their air and completely destroy, but we, as America, we have to leave this. Like, but let's give them that's very interesting way of thinking.
Child labor, coal.
Bad air, we don't care. No. You guys can build our stuff for 30 cents on the dollar. And I'm like,
there's a reason China went from a third world country to the second largest economy, is because they're willing to do that. They don't care about the environment as much. They'll do those things. And then the people here that are like, well, we can't do that. We have to have this for minimum wage, and we can't have this for people working. get it from over there.
Yes.
And we feel good about ourselves
So
doing
it's
that.
on Amazon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Minnesota's got one of the largest copper nickel up
Yeah.
up on the range mines, and that we
That's
could
fine.
be mining. And that's the biggest issue is it's a national security issue, because we use it so much for medical and for ammunitions and all that.
Yeah. To
We
have
should be
China
mining
as our
in Minnesota.
supplier is bad.
It's so bad on so many. Just all the studies that I'm hearing. Like right now, we aren't even like we get beef from Brazil now. Like we're getting like 30 to 40%. And when I see these statistics, and when I see every year the price increase per head of cattle,
Mhm.
that is just like I see what they're doing, and they're trying to take again the smaller ranches and farmers and put them out of business, and so then we all rely on the big
Right.
like USDA sort of mass producers.
Right.
And I'm like, or we'll get it from Brazil. And so now Brazil's economy is through the roof.
Yeah.
And
You know what's worse? I'll tell you a little secret too. If they get the beef from Brazil and they package it here, it can say packaged in the USA. It
that's
can
not a
look
lie.
because it's not a lie.
It's not a lie.
Processed in the USA. So it looks like it's from America, but it is from Brazil.
Oh, that's I read this thing from the USDA that there's something in their clause of exactly the way you're saying it, but they lie to us about 70% of the time on our packaging because they've found the workaround.
Right.
Where it's like cage-free eggs. Like there's just so many things, and they can say organic even if it was in an organic processing place. Like even if it wasn't made, they didn't get it from a farm, but it was in an organic processing place.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like the labels they can play around with quite a lot.
Shifty little suckers,
They
aren't they?
really are.
Well, that was our favorite line, is the cage-free eggs. Like if you leave an egg out, is it gonna leave by itself? You have to cage it.
You got to cage those eggs.
You gotta cage those eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The eggs were never in a cage.
Yeah, the chickens. We had them locked down.
Yeah, but their egg drops off and it rolls
That's right.
down. I'm like, see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then a free range egg, yeah. What are they? Is it like an Easter egg hunt? That's what
Yeah.
a free range egg would be to me. Out in the middle of the forest.
Foraging for eggs today.
Yeah.
One of the practice groups I was wondering is, what about voter fraud or voter tampering?
We don't deal with that.
Okay.
I don't know if we could. It's an interesting issue. Trying to think about what, like Independence Institute might, Institute for Justice,
Mhm.
IJ, they would probably deal with something like that, where an issue with if you start taking on too many
Mhm.
different types of legal work, then
Right.
we can't be as good at it.
Right.
Sort of like, have you ever been to a restaurant that serves Mexican and Italian and you're really suspicious because how can they do both really, really well?
Have a burger or should have Thai food.
Yeah, I'm like, you've got a lot of choices on your menu. I don't think you're specializing in any of these. And so we want to be concise with what we do. But I mean, Minnesota had some voter fraud.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are becoming the fraud capital of the United States.
You guys do have a lot of fraud.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I guess let's look at the top. Who is it? It's Walz. He doesn't know what he's doing. $250 million for feeding our future fraud. That was overseen by the Department of Education in Minnesota. Why are they overseeing people getting food? I don't know, but that was them. How many people now? 75 people, I think, have been convicted of that.
I think it's 92 now.
92.
I've heard it's really easy to not just like double dip, but like triple, quadruple dip into different kind of assistance, like low income assistance programs.
Right.
Like you can like apply for this one and use the same information and be getting money from about 4 different programs. And then you're probably making like $75,000 a year just from the benefits that you're getting, and nobody's checking up on it. So that's fraud. Yeah.
And the government's position is, we want to give you as much as possible. That's the Minnesota government right now. It's not, we're trying to help people out and try to help as many people as possible. It's, we're going to just give you as much money as you need. keep them going.
But at what expense? At the cost of who though? Like that's not.
That's the
the
cost of
problem.
$5 billion of people leaving Minnesota. People actually with money are leaving Minnesota. There's this great documentary on it. He was talking about Minneapolis and the downfall of Minneapolis, but somebody bought a downtown business, one of the big buildings, for $10 a square foot. Guy goes, you can't even carpet this place for $10 a square foot. It went from like, I don't want to say the numbers because it was ridiculous, like 330 million down to 7 million. I think they sold it for.
Where's this documentary?
I will give you a link to it. It was one of the shows that we Alpha News. If you go to Alpha News, you might see it there, but I'll send you a link or we'll post a link for it.
When I did this thing called Leadership Program of the Rockies, and they're actually coming to Minnesota and Wisconsin, and I was like, I know people there. You will need to meet them.
Yeah.
But it's a great program for 9 months. You go one Friday a month, and you dive into constitutional principles about capitalism and how we've come so far away from it and how to try to get it back. And one day when they were talking about, taxes and welfare, basically it showed that a single mother who's getting like Medicaid and a few other things was actually making more than like a single mama who went to work and made $75,000 a year. And I was just sitting there because I'm a single mom and I was like, this is really hard for me to swallow. They're making more money than going to work off of assistance. And there's just some statistics where you're like, really? We are creating a lazy society and that they don't have to capitalism is dead because they don't have to go and work, have a skill, trade anything. We're just going to give it to them for doing nothing. And I don't know how could we not turn into Gotham?
Well, sooner or later, you stop finding people you can take their money from, and then the chaos begins.
Yes.
Right. As soon as that happens, you're going to go over this precipice. And then after that, people are going to leave the state. They're going to have all these welfare cases, nobody to pay for it. And I don't know what's going to happen then. It is going to be Gotham. It's going to be pretty bad.
It's scary. And it's interesting that they're so concerned about preserving the environment for the future, but that's the only thing that they think about when it comes to the future.
That's true.
Nothing else.
Right. And we're not as bad as we are. You want to see what we can be, go to look at England. I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's going on there lately, but take a look at what that's what they were trying to push us into with Biden. That's where they are now in the UK, where you can't say in Scotland, this one woman said she was born and bred here. And then she immediately, it's like, what did I say? And there was a police complaint filed against her for that. You can't say you were born and bred in that place when you're a public official. That's what could be happening.
I do know that they come and take you from your home if they hear that you've said something that they don't want you to say.
If you retweet a social media post they don't like, they will come and take you and put you in prison. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
No, but if we did that here, you guys would be busy nonstop.
We would be very busy.
Or in jail.
Yes. It's very interesting because now with cell phones, I think of whenever somebody, those videos that always go viral of somebody getting arrested and they're videoing the police officer.
Yeah.
And think about the twisted circle that it is because they're videoing it to make sure that nothing bad happens to them. And it takes away the right of the police officer to say, no, you get that out of my face. Yeah. But if if the tables were on the other side, they don't want the police videoing them. They don't want anything, but they can do it.
Right.
So they want their own First Amendment rights, but they don't want anybody else practicing their First Amendment rights.
It's terrible because they treat police officers like they're not humans. They're a thing, they see in a movie, and they can treat them any way they want, and they can do it. But if you do anything to them, they scream like a stuck kid.
They do.
And it's not good. You see this with these ICE things going on right now. They get right into their face and they're screaming at them. And as soon as they push them or hit something, they take them down. And then it's like, why are you doing this to me?
Well, people are that is getting a lot of. I really don't like. This is one of the reasons I don't like the media is because they're not giving the backstory of how all these people got there and how they were placed in these neighborhoods that they didn't want these transplants anyway. And now, they want them to leave. And the way that they're filming it makes the officials look bad. It's no, the people who lived here to begin with, they don't want them here either.
Right.
It's completely turned up their neighborhood upside down. And then of course you film the government agent and now they're the bad guy.
Right. Because you didn't film the 3 hours leading up to
yes,
that.
you just have this on film. And so I just hate that twisted scope of just showing
Yeah.
the one part.
Right.
I know I thought Dave said something, but it was the car. I'm like, what?
He typically makes car noises. I don't understand it.
I could see that. Yeah.
What else? Dave, what do you got? What's your questions?
I had a couple questions and you might be able to answer. The one thing our Minnesota voters are looking for, at least that we've noticed, is how does the voters know which is a good judge and which is a bad judge? I mean, your organization is dealing with a lot of judges. How do you know which ones are politically motivated? Do you know of an organization, or your own organization be able to tell who we should be voting for as far as the elected judges go?
Ooh, that is a hard question, because even if you see an Obama appointed judge, things have changed so much since Obama was in
Yeah.
office that
Mhm.
who they were when they are appointed, they could have gone in either direction now. And we will go into a case and we will look up our judges, which on our website, mslegal.org, we actually have a map, and you can click on the districts
Oh,
and
nice.
see if it's a red or a blue judge. And it'll show you how many in each district. So that's helpful to kind of
That's
give
very
you,
helpful. Yep.
just show you that. But we go in and we look at the judges and we'll be like, okay, we've got 2 Trump appointees, what's like a Bush appointee, like we've got, and you kind of try to gauge what you think they're going to do. And we've had 2A cases where we had all Obama appointed judges and they came back in our favor.
Good.
So the judges are really, really hard, because they're also human beings, and sometimes they're just having a bad day. Like, you don't know why they're upset about something. You don't know. And some of them, the best way, I mean, a lot of research. And that's our general counsel, Will Trackman, he actually used to work for the Department of Education in President Trump's first term. And now he is our general counsel, and he is very knowledgeable because he's been around the block and he knows the judges kind of like the back of his hand. And he would be he's a good resource for those types of questions. When you're talking about voting for a judge, I always get stuck on that. I think you'd have to research days to find out the judge. And I don't even think you could get as much information as you would want. I would honestly say you would need to talk to kind of people in your circle that know them personally and have a trustworthy relationship with them, because judges, that's just a tricky vote.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's what we're trying to figure out is, you see all these judges up for election, but you don't really have any information on them, and the information that they're going to put on their own personal website is
what they want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
You have to
is
do
pretty
some
meaningless.
really intense digging. And a good way to do it, if you have the time, would be to see cases that they have tried in the past and what their ruling was. I think that would be a pretty good way to gauge them and see if they are extremely left-leaning, extremely right-leaning, or if they are neutral and they make decisions based on the case, which I would say is probably the judge that I would want, that can actually interpret the law as they are supposed to,
Right.
instead of being biased, which is the judges that we have now. They don't even want to interpret the law too. They kind of dance around it. And that is the judge. You want a judge that makes hard decisions, even if they don't think that people are going to agree with them, but they make the decision anyway.
Right. And it doesn't matter who appoints them at that point.
It just shows that their character.
Right. What else you got, Dave?
That was the main one. Because like our AG, Keith Ellison, he's trying to basically legislate from his position by him changing the laws from his attorney general position. I mean, is there a way to stop him from being able to do that, or is that just unelect the guy is about all you can do?
Yes, when the legislation is a sad place to me, because you go and you think it's for the people, and then you watch the people advocate for what they want, and then it goes in the complete opposite direction. And I watched it in Denver on the Hill, and I was like, that was really sad. Because, you know, people wait in line all day. They're there all day long. They say what they think. You see so many people advocating for the complete other side, and it's like it didn't even matter. So for right now, yes, the only way for change is to change who's coming in next, and really spread the word of why that person should be. And it takes a village to share.
Hillary Clinton.
Ew, did she say that?
Yeah, that was her thing.
I take it back. Take the city.
That's right.
And because, yes, and you have to get, the really important part too is that whoever is the next AG is that he thinks of his he thinks of what he's doing in a long term, so that it doesn't change over if someone else is elected in the next term.
Yeah.
So that's the real longevity aspect. And I know people come into office and they want to change things immediately, and so it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the light at the end of the tunnel will keep their legacy going, and so that's the important part. If it's our sort of, or you have to get a case against them. If you have a case, is it Ellison?
Yeah.
Same with what we're doing with Governor Polis. It's not into effect yet. It goes into effect in August, and we're already fighting it.
You're ready to go. Yeah.
So if there's something that's so unconstitutional that he's passed that bill, but it's not in effect yet, that's something that a legal foundation can handle.
Okay. We're lucky in that even as bad as it was, we had a trifecta. We've recently got some good legislators in. Natalie Zalesnikar, she represents the area you're staying in there. And Cal, who lives up here, and it's gone all red around Duluth.
That's nice.
It's just Duluth.
You're just going to suffocate it. It's okay.
That's right. You're just
a big
Republican hug.
Come to me.
That's great. There we go. Well, we've been going for an hour. It's been really great, but I don't want to take up all your night. So anything else you want to pitch? I mean, how do we help you guys?
We are always looking for clients, and we are a nonprofit law firm. So we rely solely on the support of our donors.
Okay.
And all that information is on my website, and you can put the website on there. You can put my email on there, anything.
Yep. Okay.
And I'm serious. If any questions, always happy to answer questions. Always happy to have my attorneys help too. That's their job.
Okay.
If you have a question, I'm like, ooh, he would love to answer this for you. And they really do. So,
okay.
And then you have to share your campaign that's coming up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We will be hitting the road pretty quickly on trying to get campaign.
What does that mean when you hit the road?
That means,
what's the campaign life like?
Well, it's all here. Luckily for me, unlike Natalie has to drive miles, I have just down here to the east end. So that's my area that I'm running for. Okay. So what it means is I get out, try to do fundraising, get my signs out, and get messaging out somehow. And one of the things we started this so I could get my message out. So if people had questions about what I thought, we do that weekly show where we just bring up news articles and Dave and I just bloviate on things. If you have a question, you can watch my show. So that was to get people to understand that just because you're conservative doesn't mean you're evil, and you don't want to take everybody out, and you don't want to drop everybody off welfare and all this other stuff. It was just to make hopefully a more human person that they're dealing with, because I can talk to Democrats. Most of my family is Democrats, and we get along just fine. So, and we agree on 90% of the stuff. It's funny because when I do put my message out and say what's happening, like I've told you a couple of things, you go, what? So that's what it means to
it's
get
more educating people, because a lot of people have their rose-colored glasses on, and they're thinking very black and white, and it's not black and white. Yeah, and it's very hard to reason people out of their opinions if they just have that opinion. But as soon as you see some truths and then you start investigating things, that's when you turn people around, when they start looking at it for themselves. So, and then very seriously, when this podcast is all, let me share it with all my Minnesota people.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have a lot of them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're ever back in town, you want to do it again, or you want to sit in. So you should watch one of the shows. When Art's here, we just go through news stories And then we
I
just
love
talk
Art.
about it.
I really do.
Art's a great guy.
He's so funny.
Yeah, he's been very helpful for us
Uh-huh.
too on our campaign and
Yes.
everything. Yeah, great to know. One of the nice things about running is I got to meet really good people here in Duluth, and I didn't think there was any conservatives here.
And then they
There
come
are.
peeking out.
Right? Yeah. Last year it was like, would you like a yard sign? Like, I can't put that in my yard. It's getting better. It's
Okay.
with Trump in charge, you're seeing people now being
Yes.
a little more open about being conservative and talking about some of the crazies that are going on. Because it used to be crazy stuff would happen, and
Well, because they would shame us.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to be shamed. I would rather just be quiet.
yeah, I don't mind it. I don't care.
Oh, it's just such an argument, and it's an argument usually when people don't know. They don't want to even hear my side of the story. I am happy to listen to somebody else's opinion.
Yeah.
And have a constructive conversation, but that's usually not the case when it's flipped around.
It was nice because last year I went to UMD twice, and I had 2 forums I went to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gone to UMB. I had gone back to get my master's degree. So I graduated in 2020, and I knew that it wasn't that bad. But going there, the kids were asking questions with, they weren't asking them to be angry. They were asking them to understand something.
Mhm.
And when I was telling them things, you could see they were hearing things for the first time because they do not hear that at the college.
Yes,
And I actually had one of the kids at one of the things start helping me out on my campaign.
that's amazing.
I stayed after, and I stayed after for like an hour and a half until they basically kicked us all out because people had questions for me. The other guy that was there from the other side, he left because they already know what he thinks. So it's not so bad. It's turning around.
I like that generation is asking questions.
It is.
It's about time.
And they were listening to the answers too. They weren't just asking them to argue with me.
Yes.
So that's
Good.
good.
That
Yeah.
makes me happy to hear.
And they're smart kids. I mean, it makes me feel good that we're going to be taken care of, because a couple of years there, I was like,
Oh, I was really
what's going to
worried.
happen?
At gentle parenting stage, those kids I was worried about them.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah. My kids didn't get that. And they tell me all the time. All right, Chanel. Well, that has been great. Any parting words?
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Dave, anything else?
No, it's good to have more views and a lot more facts coming from people. We appreciate you coming out and visiting us.
Yeah, we'll try to send some work your way,
Please do.
and we'll send some donations your way, and hopefully some people watch this and get to know you. We'll put your website out on the notes too.
Awesome.
All right. Well, if that's it, have a good night. Thanks for coming in.
Good night. Will you play Feeding the Ducks?
Feeding the ducks.
What does that sound like? Feeding the- I wanted it to be ducks.
It sounds like a late night commercial. All right, I'm ending this.